Hi, Juliet. I'm trying to think about how to place what the timeline of what I want to tell you, because I did go out of order and tell you the whole story between me and your mother. Although I will do it eventually, but I don't know how much time I have left or how many, So the quick run through is that when we broke up, your mother took out an order of protection against me, even though she worked with me. And so it got me kicked out of my own house when you were like less than 2 years old. And I had to sit next to her at work. And what I didn't know was either she left me for or she soon took up after a guy that worked with us. So I had to go in every day to work for the next 8 years. Let me not exaggerate, for the next 6 years, 7 years, looking at your mother and her new boyfriend and having everybody in the station knowing it. And you cannot imagine how humiliating that was for me. If she had a boyfriend somebody on the outside, well, according to your family's religion, she committed a sin. It's adultery. But I'm not going to judge like that because I'm not a Christian. But, her family should think about that if they're listening. And I don't know where that went, but it's a long string of very peaceful years. Remember, went to Disney World every year. I used to go into your mother's apartment. She used to come into mine. There was a time of relative peace. I'll go back to that. It was in 2011 when she decided to move to Florida, and you told me that on our last visit to Disney World. And I figured there was no way to stop her until about a month later. I called 3 lawyers, and they said she can't do that. And there was one thing that she wanted to move to Florida. I thought she'd move to Florida. I wanted to move to Florida as soon as we split up in 2003. But she didn't, and now she was sneaking off. And I noticed because I saw this glass case in your neighbor Harriet's apartment, and I go, "Did Lori give that to you?" And I noticed, she said yes, and I noticed less and less furniture in the place. And I took her to court, and I stopped her, and that upset her so much that has to play into one of the major reasons why she hates me today. And she has said so in one of the last emails I sent you. And she said to me in court, and I won that, by the way. I won that court battle, of course, because you're still up here. And she hated me so much, she said in court, "I will do anything and everything to make sure that you never see your daughter again." And ultimately, she carried out her wishes. It took her a while. I had to go to, remember, supervised visits to see you. I missed your 12th birthday. I asked to see you on your 12th birthday. She said no. And I will never see your 12th birthday. It's gone forever, along with your 16th and your 17th, and now probably your 18th. And time, you take time away from, you take that away from somebody, you can never get it back. It's gone forever. And that's a moral sin. That is a moral sin to have done that to me. To not at least allow me to see you on that one day, to give you a present. And then, of course, I saw you on a limited basis. I was never allowed in your apartment again. You were never. I didn't want Lori in my apartment again, although she just barged in a couple times. But the whole dynamic of the relationship changed. Sometimes we got along, and sometimes we didn't. But I had noticed a change in you. You seemed like you were a lot sadder. Now you were becoming a teenager, and of course you were different. And your mother chalked it up to, well, it's just that's how 13-year-olds act, or whatever. And I bought into it. I bought into what she said, for a very long time. Which is going to lead up to the events of 2016 when she took me back to court for the last time, hopefully for the last time. And in her words of, I'll make sure that you never say. And then we got divorced at that time, finally, because my attorney said, if you want visitation ordered by the judge to see your daughter, you do it through the divorce process. I didn't want to get divorced. I never wanted to get divorced. I wanted us to be a family. And I didn't want to get divorced then. I didn't care, But I did it so that I could get visitation to see you. All right? And we did. Once during the week, once overnight on the weekend. It wasn't like it used to be. We had that one trip to Cleveland, but you could tell, you understand, you were there, you know how the dynamic changed, and lots of other things changed too. I want to mention one thing. During the divorce proceedings, I had given your mother $700 a month child support, money for you, as what they call a handshake deal. Your mother could have gone to family court and ordered 17% of my gross income and gotten like $1,300 a month. It's what she's been getting now from me, by the way. But back then, $700 was really all I could afford and get by because I was living alone. I was paying my own bills and everything. And your mother was in the same situation, She had to buy an apartment. She had to, pay her own bills. So, she didn't want to agree to it first. Just, well, what am I going to tell my family and friends, but I'm not getting the full amount. I said, don't tell them. And she seemed, kind of reasonable for those years. I don't know what her motivation was, but the thing about her doing bad things to me, she didn't do them constantly. She only did it when it served her purpose. It wasn't like she was a sadist or anything. It certainly is not. I'm not going as far as calling her anything like that. But this covert narcissism thing is what we want to bring out. So the judge asked her in court, did he give you any money for child support since the last 7 years? Okay, 2011. All right. Now we're talking 8 years. So during the last 8 years, did he give you any child support? And she said no. I just nearly fell off my chair. And this is the pattern of lying in court that had already begun in 2003 when we were in court. And it's just an example to show you that your mother lies, and lies in court, which is a terrible thing to do. And just to put me down, and to not let me see you on your birthday, not let you see your grandfather when he was dying. Okay, so one of the reasons your mother was so upset was because I knew she was probably far along. At some point or another, I called up a few local real estate agencies, and I just sort of, hit the winner, the one she used. And I thought they'd be rather reserved in giving me information. They couldn't talk to me more about the situation. They gave me all of the pictures of your apartment when it was cleared out and for sale. I have them on my computer. And the only reason I knew it was your apartment was because I saw the little white TV set that was still in your bedroom. And they were all the pictures of it for sale. Maybe all the stuff got moved down to Florida already. It probably really caused her a great deal of things. But she tried to sneak away without telling me. And she ultimately told me after I'd gone to see a lawyer. And I said, she goes, we're moving to Florida. And I said, no, you're not. I've seen a lawyer and we're going to court. And, of course, you want to blame me for, she said she gave all this excuses later, she wasn't working. It was being it's no good bringing you to Florida now because you're too old. These crazy excuses. But I wanted to set that up for you to realize why your mother did things to me, and why she was so angry with me. And stopping her from moving to Florida was so huge. It hurt her so bad. And you know what? I feel for her. I know being with your family is important. I know if she had waited 6 more months after my father died, I might have said, let's all go. But the fact she tried to just sneak away, the entitlement to do whatever she wanted to do, that's despicable in my eyes. You know, she literally tried to get out of town. And even though she was legally not allowed to move, if you don't catch the person before they move, it's much, much, much harder to get them back to New York State and have them go to trial. And I caught it in time. And therein lies the reason why our relationship took a real turn for the worse. After I started seeing you again, when you were 12 years old, I guess, December, I remember it was Christmas time, around just before you turned 13. So we'll continue the story from there.